For ease of learning and for ease of remembering, we classify striking into very simple groups: spherical, rotational, stiletto, and durational. Later on in this DVD, we'll show the various more specific types of striking using fingers, the blade of the hand, and everything else. But all these can fit into these quite broad 4 simple categories. We're going to start with spherical. Your basic spherical means you strike follows round. A very simple thing. With all our striking, we power down by making sure we have a good base. This is our control. We make sure that our breathing's there and we're breathing out. And always alignment, 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 because as we demonstrated earlier, if we use the wrong target area, we don't have proper alignment, then you're going to get hurt. And the proof of the pudding is that I'm going to ask James to jump up now and just throw a roundhouse at this wall for me, James. Only 1% power, very slowly, and you're going to get the wrong alignment. So, as a general rule of thumb, James, you just want to be standing here. The general rule of thumb is that with our spherical striking, it's following round, but it's open-handed because we're going to a hard surface there. And it needs to be soft. And I did that with quite gently. But obviously we know we chamber up, power down, shielding, and I've set off in there. I'm not going to hurt my hand, and I can repeat that. And later on we will demonstrate our RLR and LRR principles. Moving on now, we're going to be looking at our durational types of striking. Same sort of rule of thumb applies, but this time I make sure that I leave it on there. And this is often referred to, especially by my older jiu-jitsu teachers, as time on target, or TOT. And the emphasis here is that we're putting our energy in, but we're also breathing out and everything. As it stays there, we leave this on here for the longest amount of time. I'm just going to demonstrate this once. And the force goes in. Again, very gently, but just enough to make sure that we're going in. Another type of striking, as we talked about earlier, is our rotational. And we get extra force by having rotational movement. Now this is demonstrated quite classically in your typical karate punching, and this is seen through all martial arts. But from a Goshin Jutsu perspective, this rotational only really comes from the shoulder and elbow. We still need to have alignment, but as we do this, strike, but I'm just going to do it here, that we chamber in, so we get almost, and this little rotational gives extra power into it. Additionally, we have strikes that are stiletto, that go in, and we look to have the smallest possible point, and we put the most weight into this. If you imagine a stiletto heel, we have any form of small object, something like a knuckle, that we're close enough that we're in, that we can put all of them through a small area to create our effect. And our final category is I refer to as cleaving. This is a very simple movement. You just imagine that you've picked up something and you've cleaved. It's just straight down. With all these things, the key word is alignment, breathing, and control. Because if I cleave at the wrong angle, I don't want to be cleaving onto a wall, because the force is going to go against my wrist. So later on, when we demonstrate the very particular striking areas of the hand, the forehand, the triceps, you'll see that all of the strikes that you have fall into these broad categories of spherical, rotational, stiletto, durational. And additionally, I'm going to throw another one into the pile, is whiplash. And the principle of whiplash is that you send it back as fast as it goes in. I'm only going to do this very gently here because it's done more as what we call a concept of metsubushi at a person. But it is, again, a very powerful strike, but the alignment does need to be there, so it's coming in.